Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Four Corners of Commentary. Before we start, we want to give a rest in peace to two legends in the wrestling community. One being the legendary hardcore icon, Terry Funk, and the other, we found out today, passed away from heart complications, Bray Wyatt, aka Wyndham Rotunda. Um, we will miss you guys. We thank you for everything that you and all the memories that you gave us. Chris, or excuse me, Stretch, if you will.
Indeed.
Thank you once again for everything that you've done for us. You guys have done for us and the memories that you gave us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to season 3 of the Four Corners of Commentary.
I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got it. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough time. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I can feel the blood creeping
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Four Corners of Commentary season 3. Shouts out to my nephew, Mr. Garcia, for that beautiful artwork of the four of us. There's a little secret coming out. We working on a little stuff in the works, but I'm really excited about what's coming out. Guys, as you already know, I am your guy, your man, K Marvel.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's your boy QS. It's nice to be back. Nice to see y'all again.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Big Stretch himself. It's absolutely wonderful to be back with my 3 learned colleagues.
I had to be the one to mess up, right? Hey, everybody, it's me, Striker Dragoon, back in the building as always.
Don't adjust your sets either.
Wait, and look, at this time, it's not even his fault. Like, that's the crazy part. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, we are your Four Corners of Commentary. Oh, man. So, once again, we had to start the show a little heavy. But before we get into talking about some of our favorite moments and memories of 2 of the wrestlers that have passed recently, first and foremost, us. We took a small hiatus. We were doing a lot. And life just kind of came at us funny. You know, we all go through things. We're all human. So, first and foremost, gentlemen, how's your mental? How you feeling?
I mean, my mental is I don't want to go. I usually start off and say like how's everything. I say like, yo, I'm maintaining. I think in the process, I think the last time we were here, you guys knew I was doing this episode when I had just lost I just lost my good buddy. We lost our Four Corners mascot, lost Max, and in the time frame, it was a lot of grief, a lot of mental episodes back and forth. I obviously furthered my journey of healing and therapy. I've even taken the next step. I'm on medication now. So it's nothing to frown upon, but it was necessary. It was needed to make sure that I'm not put me in a dark space, or that put me in a place where I'm not safe. I would say that I still have my moments where I fall short, but I'm still here. I'm still making it. I'm pushing through. Not only I don't have the original Four Corners mascot with Max anymore, but he's always going to be here in spirit, and that's why I now have I got two more. I ended up adopting one, adopting another cat, and I also ended up. You can thank my girlfriend. She ended up also giving me a kitten. So now I got two. I got two kids. So I'm a father of two now. So I'm over here just maintaining that. Like it's and I'll tell y'all, it's not easy being a pet dad. It's not easy being a cat
It's
dad.
damn sure not.
It is. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's good. It's good. They keep me young. They keep me fresh. They keep me. They prepare me. They keep me patient. So I think I'd say for right now, it is going. And then after just finding out the news today, it's just a little. It's a little bit of I'm just numb, a little numb at the moment.
Yeah, understandable. That's completely understandable. Stretch.
I would say I'm good. Obviously, last 2 days not necessarily the best news that we could get as fans of professional wrestling. We lost Bray Wyatt today, and we lost an absolute legend in Terry Funk. So definitely not the way that you want to start the past 48 hours. It just makes me reflect on the fact that we're not promised tomorrow. We had Terry Funk, who lived quite a life, but Bray Wyatt, who died at 36.
Yeah,
And it's incredibly young for anybody to pass away, for anybody to be faced with their own mortality. It just reminds me, we're not promised tomorrow. So, like I've been posting on X, which I hate. Let this be a reminder to everyone listening, everybody tuning in tonight, to be good to yourselves and to be good to each other.
absolutely. Strike.
This mic gonna get me in trouble, man. Life's been pretty mellow, pretty busy, pretty chaotic at the same time. But as y'all know me, I push through no matter what. I just gotta push through. But summer's been good. Summer's been extremely nasty, extremely hot. I don't really know what to say. Apartment's been hella hot. In terms of just forward movement, I haven't been streaming much, so you can tell it was just full, disappearance mode for me. But I'm gonna get back to that eventually starting September. Well, new game coming out tomorrow, but I'll be back at it full swing in September, and just pushing through. Like I said, got to get back to where I was. Got to get my energy back up to where it used to be, and
Absolutely.
it'll take time, but that's life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, man.
Losing. It really is like it's so surreal, because it's like when you think of Bray and you think of, I said it already. I said this man was a genius. He was a creative genius. He was charismatic. He was energetic. He was humble. He was lit, and it just sucks to keep saying was, because it's like it should still be is.
Absolutely.
It's not fair to see such a well-loved person, someone who was loved all around, and even just losing their life just like this, like 36. It's literally 36 is our age range. Like that's an our age group. Like we're all in our 30s, and it's like it always tell you to be like take care of yourselves. Hug your loved ones tight.
Yep. Tell them you love them.
That's true, but it's true. You got to do that. But then there's also times where it's like a lot. You don't even want to hear that right now.
Yeah.
It's just so because it's like when you lose somebody like that that's loved by all, it really it ruins the day. It hurts. It hurts. It really
Yeah.
hurts. It's like I'm just really happy and I'm like grateful to see that he actually got to see how much we all loved him. I'm glad he
Yes.
got to see that when he came back. I'm
Absolutely.
more than glad he got that several times over.
Right.
It's just it sucks. It's like what it could have been a potential, what could have been the future, what could have been. We're always gonna have just that what could have been. It's just something that we'll never know. But
Right.
I would say he definitely was one of the greatest of this generation. He was one of the greatest. He was one of those greats, no matter what, best talkers in this industry. Bar
Mm-hmm.
none. There wasn't anybody that was going that really if he when he got into it when he got into a promo, you had to really keep up. You had to keep up with it. No, not a
Right.
lot of people could keep up with him in a promo, and
Right.
it's just unfortunate to see that. And I not only feel for his family and his friends, you have to feel for again for the same company that he was working for.
Yeah.
That was his wrestling family. You got to feel for
Yeah.
them, feel for all of them, because now you know that this is guts. It's a gut punch. A lot of things that would have been there, it's all in disarray for the moment. So you just got to
Right.
keep praying for them, keep them in your prayers, and it's just sad.
Yeah.
It's a terrible loss. Terrible loss.
Yeah, before we keep going, I guess I'll give you all a little update for me too. Um, I'm good. No, no, no. Life is actually, look, life's right. Life has been life, and there's been ups, there's been downs. You know, uh, but there's a lot of opportunities that I am proud to say are coming our way. Um, I'm just, especially with everything happening with the news today. I think right now the only thing I can really think of is just that I'm happy that you know the people that I care about are right as far as I know. You know, whatever you don't know the unknown. You know what I mean? So, i- i- I'm happy that the four of us are well. I'm happy that our families are well. You know, look, it's never easy, right? How many wrestlers, and we're just talking specifically wrestlers, not even just actors or singers or anybody else, like, or just anybody in our immediate families, right? um there's there's a lot of people that we admire. I don't, because I don't want to say praise is something, I think, a little too much, but there's a lot of people that we admire and that we appreciate. And I know I can speak for the four of us when I say that Bray was definitely one of them. Um, Bray Wyatt, like I said, once again, excuse me, passed away due to heart complications. Um, and you know, I guess we can start on a couple stories, but for me, seeing him as Husky Harris was one thing, that it seems like the new Nexus wasn't really ever meant to be anything other than to push CM Punk at the time. And there's it's to see him go from Husky Harris to become Bray Wyatt on NXT. Look, man, he was captivating the moment he came out as that character. The absolute moment. I remember stories of Dusty, rest in peace, Dusty Rhodes, but of Dusty absolutely loving him the moment he brought it to the table. which was an extension of himself. Um, but seeing him come out with the way he moved, the way he carried himself, the way he spoke, like US was saying, it was special. I feel like that's really the best way we could put it. It was special. Um, there were so many moments, and I think that's one of the things I want to get into first for the four of us was those special those particular moments that kind of had your jaw drop. I specifically have two, but I'll just pick one in particular, um, because this essentially happened when we started our podcast, which was 3 years ago now. But watching him come out as the Fiend for the first time, against Finn Balor at SummerSlam, that was one of the like I that was one of those moments where I was literally on the edge of my seat. Like, that's not even a joke. I was literally on the edge of my couch waiting to see what his entrance was going to be, what his music was going to be, how to, because look, if you're new to the channel, I'm an entrance whore. Um, so that's what this is the first thing that we see when it comes to these talents. And man, when I tell you they knocked it out of the damn park with the Fiend, um, and that's not to discredit anything he did before and or after, but to me that was top tier Bray. Um, just the song worked, the music worked, the way they moved the lights worked, um, the way the way just everything worked. I really don't know how else to put it, and who better to put him over than the man Finn Balor? You know what I'm saying? Um, so so for me, that was one of those moments that solidified. We were just saying this off air. Also, I truly feel that. I truly feel that uh, Bray, Bray Wyatt slash the Fiend, but Bray in particular was the successor to
People,
the Undertaker. And Q, uh, I didn't know if he was going to touch it or not, but I know you mentioned it off air. I just wanted to pull this picture up and have you explain what this moment meant to you.
it's so funny to like when you see these two, when you see, Bray Wyatt, you see the Undertaker, every whoever was watching that special Raw 30th anniversary special, it was supposed, you guys got to see, you know, Bray Taker like, say what he had to say to Bray, and it's revealed later that Taker basically just saying stay true to yourself and just keep going, doing the right thing. It's like everybody always puts these guys' careers almost in a parallel. They try to say like he's gonna be like Bray was supposed to be like the next Undertaker. He was supposed to be his successor. I wanted to like just tell y'all, for those who've like been able to come to a WWE show at the Barclays Center and you were able to see Bray Wyatt, or you even see Bray when he was in that rendition of the Fiend. When he was the Fiend, you hearing how electric that crowd is, or how deafening those fans was cheering for him. There was like, I still remember just looking around in the arena and seeing like there's so many children that had Fiend masks. There was at a point in time, like in my era, when my era was with the Undertaker, as a kid, kids feared the Undertaker. They were scared of him. They were scared of everything about him. But these kids, you would think these kids were scared of the Fiend. No, they really they looked to the Fiend as that was their supernatural superhero. Where everybody had like a supernatural superhero when they were growing up. Like, with us, it was the Undertaker. I guess there were previous times before they had the Ultimate Warrior. They had Hulk Hogan. We had the Undertaker. We had Stone Cold. We had Sting. And these guys and the kids growing up, they had Bray. They had Bray. They had a Bray. They had an Aleister Black. They had, they were able to have these supernatural characters. So when you have the Fiend here, just to see how much the kids loved him, I know like this, it hurts. It hurts to see this now. It's just like, in a way, we were getting it. It was coming back. We were getting that back. You knew it was coming, but then it just to see like this such an abrupt halt like this out of the blue, it sucks. And it sucks. It's just like it really sucks when it happens in wrestling. Like always, this happens every time. We lose so many of our great legends so young. The ones that we know that had special, that had the magic, that had you captivated, made you fall in love with pro wrestling. It made you love wrestling for what it is. We keep losing them. We keep losing them. So it's like I don't know. It's not even a matter of what can we do. There's nothing that we can do. It really is just a matter of it's just life is just not fair. Sometimes life really isn't fair, and this is just one of those cases. But it's like, damn, it's not fair. It didn't have to be him. That's just the truth. It didn't have to be Bray, but it is. And it's all we have nothing like but the moments. Even when he debuted as the Fiend, for when you got to see like how much everyone that was watching at home or was in that arena, how captivated they were by just seeing him, and then they still were cheering and still saying holy shit and this is awesome even after he did the entrance. You're never going to get that again. We're never getting that again. And we just have to take that in with us. Like there's so many moments with Bray. Believe it or not, Bray has been a part of so many moments that made you believe or fall in love with wrestling as it was at the time.
Absolutely.
Like Bray was if you guys won't want to admit it, but Bray is also was a key figure, was a key part of the Yes Movement. He was an integral part of the Yes Movement. He was an integral part of a feud with the Shield. He was an integral part when he was feuding with John Cena. There was so many different moments, and it just worked because it was Bray. Bray was the only one that could make that he could sit there and take shit and turn shit into gold. That was Bray. That was Bray's gift, and nobody has that.
Yeah, definitely. I think one more thing I wanted to touch on was that look, I think QS kind of summed it best where there were, at least, from the outside looking in, right? There was so many times where he just didn't, it just seemed like you was just going to be like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But that man truly did just turn everything into fucking gold, man. There's nothing, look, what can we say? Like, what else can we say? I mean, there's a million things we can say, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
But that man was something special. And at 36, and I'm just bringing this up because I know I'm the oldest out of all of us. I'll be 36 in, what's today's date? 3 weeks, I think, or something like that. So the 10th is 2 weeks. Oh God, it's getting old. Don't remind me. So I was gonna leave this one up. But it just once again it shows that we can't. I'm not one to talk super spiritual or anything like that, but we don't have forever on this earthly plane, and we live forever through these videos, through our work, through these memories. And damn it, Bray, you gave us so many.
No matter what, Bray is definitely. It's even with his last interview when he did at was with the Mountain Dew event when he did the interview after that press conference. He visibly stated, he said, he planned. Thing is, there's always something for everybody, and that's what he always wishes that he wanted to leave behind a legacy. I'm just paraphrasing really what he said. He just wanted to leave behind a legacy, and it's true. He has left behind a legacy. Bray's definitely left behind a legacy. There's still times where I could go back and I look at the old vignettes, the old Bray Wyatt cult videos, like when he was first coming onto the scene with the Wyatt family. Like I still
walk with me, brother.
I still go back and look at those vignettes, and they are always, and they still connect. and it still feels like he just did it yesterday. It's so
Dude,
fresh.
the Lost in the Woods promos. Oh my
Literally,
god.
literally, it's always so good, and it's like you can even going forward. You can go with the Fiend, the Firefly Funhouse. It was fun. The Firefly Funhouse let me in. The Fiend. It was fun. It worked because it only Bray's when you are able to take a character and you're just able to mold it into what you want it to be
Hmm.
and just create nothing but magic.
Yep.
Even if others don't understand, that's okay. It's not for everybody, but it is
Right.
but for those that did understand Bray, it was for us, and that's why it really hurts. That's why this type of thing it hurts. It's like yes, we have so many memories to look back on, but it's like that's just now. But that's how what it is going to be. It's memories, and
Right.
granted, you're human when you would want to yearn for more. It's human nature. You don't because stuff like that from individuals like that, you don't want to see it like that. You want them to keep going. You want them to keep continuing. That's so it's just we do have to appreciate it. Absolutely. We're always going to appreciate his work no matter what. I always say this, ain't nobody there's no on this side of the four corners over here on this side, you can never hear we have never said there's no ill will or negative thing that we've ever said in anything regards Bray. We've loved everything that he's done. And it's still to this day, still loved everything that he did. Even with his return, it worked. It worked. And it just goes back. I'm just still I think it just gives me like I'm grateful. I'm sad that he's gone, but I'm also grateful, really grateful at the fact he got to really feel that love.
Yeah,
We
and
were able
sorry,
to
good.
I'm just saying we were able to give him that love, not even during the COVID hours. We were able to give it to him post pandemic. And when he came back, when we returned at Extreme Rules when he returned, and then even following those days after, he's just here. He knows we're here with him. We were gonna walk with him wherever he went, wherever it took him. We were gonna be there with him.
Yeah, before we get Stretch and Striker's opinion, isn't it so ironic that this happens? And if I'm not mistaken, a couple of days ago, his DLC for 2K23 dropped, right?
Yeah.
It was a couple weeks back because
Couple weeks.
the last DLC really kind of recently just dropped last week. So
Yeah,
it's so funny. I was
so
even telling
crazy.
Stretch. I was telling Stretch off before we even started. I said, well, now I gotta go. I gotta make Bray my WWE champion right now. And
Right, absolutely.
I gotta make Bray champion. It just is.
I feel like if 80% of people who own that game,
Yeah,
we're
and
gonna do that exact thing.
it's definitely, but even then it makes you a little bit more looking forward to it now. I know everybody's hurt. I feel obviously now it looks like SmackDown is definitely going to be the eye to what everybody's going to be watching it, especially tomorrow because they're going to think, well, it's definitely going to be a tribute show. It's going to be something. They gotta do something for him, and they are. Like no matter what, I got to get one of his shirts. Like that's one of those guys. And especially when for any of us that have worked over there that's been able to see WWE come to Barclays, if you came in contact with Bray, you could see like exactly why I speak the way I speak about him. This is what really was one of the most humble individuals. Like he's completely humble, completely fair.
Very nice, man.
All the fans loved him. Everyone loved him. So it's
Striker.
Actually, very hard pressed for words at this moment. It's, I would say, for the majority of the TV that I've watched for wrestling, in terms of the modern era, 9 times out of 10, it's been Bray Wyatt was the reason I was watching TV.
Right.
For I would say more than a decade, I would say, or about a decade's worth, I would say. It's very crazy that one character or one faction can captivate you in such a way that you have to continuously see who they're getting involved with. You have to continuously see what wheels they're churning, because it didn't matter how short or how long a feud was with Bray or the Wyatt family involved. you always wanted to see what exactly they were about to do next. So, we can bring up the Yes Movement. We can bring up the Shield and the Wyatts. We can bring up even when Bray was doing his solo acts, the stuff he did with Randy Orton, the stuff he did with let's see who. Just run down names. There's plenty. There's so many people we
That's a
can
list,
mention right now.
Bro, Cena, Rollins, Bryan,
Yeah.
hell, Harper or Brody Lee, Eric Redbeard. Oh God, and I'm not even
Jericho.
really
Short
going.
feud with
I
Jericho.
was iffy
Yup.
about mentioning Jericho, but I didn't
No,
remember
you
too
got
much.
to.
Not even
You
Uh,
have to.
Jericho. You can even remember when he was with Matt Hardy, the leader,
that's what I was about to
Mm-hmm.
mention. Matt
Matt
Hardy.
leader
Yeah.
of
Hardy.
Worlds,
Yeah,
Randy
Deleted World.
Randy
Yup.
Orton.
Randy.
Yeah, what he had with Randy,
Bryan Danielson.
what he had with the New Day. Like there's
The
it
new.
Yeah.
Yup.
It
Yep.
New
all
Day.
goes back. It goes with Braun with when he was when he was doing
Dude,
it.
wait.
Thing with
How?
Roman.
As
So
a
many
matter of fact,
things.
I don't even know how we can even run down the list, and I have the picture without mentioning Alexa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
That's
have to mention Alexa. She was such an integral part of his character development, and
Those two, and it's
reading her tweet. Oh my!
yeah.
Oh
It's those two were like a match. It was those two like they were a match made. It worked.
yeah,
And any of everybody else, there's others that wouldn't have understood it. But for us that were intrigued, it worked. And it
yeah,
was always you saw the bits and pieces. You saw it was like, oh, they're gonna get they're taking their time. They're gonna bring those. It's gonna come back. They're just taking their time, but it's
yeah.
coming. And then something like this happens. You gotta feel, prayers to Alexa. You gotta pray, say prayer to her, but also prayers for JoJo, his
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah.
Prayers to JoJo. Prayers to his kids, his
I
young
mean,
kids. Like,
even his ex-wife, her
yeah,
too. I mean, look, no
it
matter what might have
hurts.
happened,
This hurts.
at one point or another, they were in love, and it's hard. But Strike, please finish your statement
Um.
or continue.
Yeah. I once again, it's. I'm at a loss of words. I really, I'm usually one to speak and go on, but
Yeah.
I don't know what more I can say about this man. I just retweeted Triple H not too long ago, and I said, and
Mm-hmm.
I tagged Wyndham, and I said I love him because that is true. I have loved everything he's brought to the table. I have vouched for this man to get so many different types of storylines and stuff going, and I can't be the angry person and talk about time that was missed. No, regardless to whatever feud he got, regardless to whatever story he was in, he made that shit his own.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter who the talent was, he worked with them, he did what he had to do. Now, people can say he was difficult, or people can say that, he wanted things his way, but when you are a creative mind of that nature, it's very hard for people to tell you, hey, I'm gonna change up what you're doing. What you're doing has no rhyme, no reason. Everything that Bray did had purpose. Everything.
Yeah. Yep.
Whether it was a promo, whether it was an appearance, whether it was an attack, everything turned into a story.
Mm-hmm.
Bray could tell you one story one day, and then 5 years later down the line, you'll start to see what was really happening for those 5 years, and then it starts to make sense. When
Yep.
he was doing when he was doing the pandemic run, when he was doing the Fiend in the Firefly Funhouse, when he was facing all these people having cinematic matches. Especially, I'll mention the Cena one because that's the easiest one to mention.
Oh God,
When
that
you go to
promo.
that one and you go to the promo and you go through all of the memories of Cena and all of the things that he was doing in the what was it? Not House of Horrors. What did they call it? They called it was a special name for the match, but basically just the cinematics, the jokey
It was a
style.
Firefly Funhouse match.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. It's Firefly Funhouse match.
Mm-hmm.
So, just going through all those styles, those time periods, that wasn't just the WWE thing to have been made. That was definitely Bray Wyatt. You
Yeah.
understand what I mean? So it's hard to say, it's hard to even to perceive that this man is gone. And
Yeah.
Even to Squishy just saying it a while ago, like Squishy was waiting for Bray Wyatt to come back.
Yep.
Everybody was waiting for Bray to come back. All that time that he was gone. And even to now, even to having a match with LA Knight and being gone for so long, we were still waiting for him to come back. So it
Yep.
didn't matter how long it took. We were always ready to see a Bray Wyatt come back into the ring or
Absolutely.
even to drop a promo. So on my behalf, I will say thank you, Bray, for everything you've done. Thank you, Wyndham, for being the most humble person and sometimes the most prophetic person in a sense of how he spoke and just his aura. You know, thank you for being that person because it's very hard to do that nowadays and stick to that. It's hard to speak about the trials and tribulations of the world and people are
Yep.
looking at you like you're crazy. But for the people that really sat there and listened to these promos and dissected them, you realize that he was really talking about life.
Yeah.
So, to you, Wyndham, I love you. Thank you for everything that you've done. And
Thank you, bro.
I do hope you find peace in the afterlife. Thank
Yep.
you so much.
Say hello. You know, you reunited with Brody. You know,
Yes.
and I think that's the thing we can take solace in. Like he's back. He's back up there
Um.
with Brody Lee. So I know he's
You,
good.
you know. You know. Before Stretch says his piece, y'all know what they're saying right now, right?
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's it. That's it, man.
Oh man,
Oh man, what a run! What a run that
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 damn
really
title,
could have been, man.
Mhm.
Rest in peace, man.
bro.
Whew.
Well, first off, he
Oh,
should have never lost that WrestleMania. That's first and foremost.
Oh, we
it's
know that.
Let
fine. He
let's
should have
get that
never.
out the way right now. Like, but Stretch, please put that
I
piece
mean,
together.
where does one start as far as the memories, that I have of Bray Wyatt? I just remember when I first saw the character, and seeing like the inspiration from Robert De Niro and Cape Fear, like the
Hmm.
Hawaiian shirt and the Panama hat and the cadence and the way he would talk and stuff like that. And like, even like the background of the character, like, it was like kind of like rooted in like, like the Southern style, like preachers and stuff like that would handle snakes and stuff like that to prove
Right.
like their like allegiance to God and stuff. Like I remember when William Regal was a commentator in NXT, and they went over the like background and backstory of the character, and they said that he told them a story of a guy that was handling snakes and then got bit by a snake and passed. And he said, "Why do you think that happened?" He said he didn't believe like how I believed, and it just left it at that. And it was like, like it made you wonder, right? So you see the inspiration of like the Robert De Niro and the Cape Fear and that type of stuff, and just like the presentation of the promos that he did do. Like one of the promos that immediately comes to mind is the one he had with John Cena, like with the children's choir around the cage. I was like, I've never seen anything like this. Like he was like a modern day Jake Roberts in that respect, where it was like he didn't have to yell, he didn't have to shout and scream. He got the most attention in the room talking at a cadence which was real soft and real low. And he made
Absolutely.
everybody pay attention to him. He didn't have to do much. He just had to walk in a room and say his piece, and then he was the talk of the town. That's a
Mhm.
rare ability in any type of medium, any type of entertainment medium. And we lost somebody that was really gifted, by all accounts, a creative genius.
Right.
For him to be able to evolve his character from a pseudo cult leader to kind of like a megalomaniac to this horror character in the Fiend, where it's like he's got like the Tom Savini style mask. For those of you who don't know, Tom Savini was the guy who came up with the design of the child Jason Voorhees, where he like pops
Hmm.
out at the end of the first movie and stuff. And he's worked on a lot of horror projects since. He's actually in the movie From Dusk Till Dawn as the character Sex Machine. If you want to see how Tom Savini looks. But to see like that character just evolve from over the years, and for us to kind of be robbed of what we were going to get, as fans, and that might sound as a tad selfish, but I was really intrigued with where the character was going to go with the Uncle Howdy like arc and everything.
Yeah. Oh my
For him,
God.
to
Untapped potential.
pass away at age 36. You know, it's a gut punch to all of us. You know, nobody should have to face their own mortality at age 36.
Yeah.
It's way too young, you know, and it's, you know, I can't really articulate it any better than you guys have, you know, just to the Rotunda family, to the Mulligan family, thank you for everything. You know,
Yeah.
we really take for granted sometimes. You know, it's very easy for us to forget as fans that these individuals do put their lives on the line when they go out and wrestle. You know, it takes one mistake to completely change things, and these guys are away from
Absolutely.
their families and they're away from their children. You know, just in the name of to entertain us. And you know, Bray was one of the best at doing it. Oh, thank you, and Godspeed. That's all I can say.
Yeah, definitely. So you know what? Let's yeah, as Striker was having a little bit of tech difficulties, but I believe the brother is back. So, hey, there we go. He
Back at
good. He
60
good.
frames. I'm back.
Hey, there we go. He's not lagging no more.
No lag.
Yes, sir.
Striker Lagoon.
Striker lag.
Striker Lagoon is crazy.
That's classic.
I'm
man, if you
gonna
don't-
make a hat.
you don't
for
change
that.
your handle right now. So why don't we do this? While we're speaking about the late great Bray Wyatt, let's talk about some of the matches that we love from him, or that we truly enjoyed. Um, you know what, Strike? Since you were having the lag before, brother man,
Yes,
why don't
sir.
you why don't you touch on, or just speak real quick, real short, just speak about one of the matches that you love that Bray was a part of.
Oh man, Bray and Roman tagging. Come on, who's not going to mention that match? They never tagged before, so imagine you not tagging before with somebody,
Magical.
and you are just in sync from the get go. I think, especially for the time, especially for the rivalry that they've had across the Shield and the Wyatts, and across them, going for the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship, whichever one it was. Just to align at that moment,
Universal WWE, yeah.
just to align at that moment, and no, I wasn't mentioning the Universal, but I meant at that time when that match was happening.
Oh, got you.
But even yes, but correct. Even later on down the line with the Universal title and stuff like that. Agreed. Just to see them align at that moment, and it was just like they've been tagging their whole lives. It was just magical. But I think that's a testament to not only Roman, but a big testament to Bray, and in terms of who he was as a wrestler, who he was as a character, because it didn't matter who he was with, as long as he can make something out of it, it was always going to be magical.
Right. Absolutely. Stretch.
One of the first matches of his that come to mind, man. There's a lot actually.
Oh, there's a whole hell of a lot.
The first match I got that comes to mind immediately is him tagging with Bryan Danielson against the Usos, in which I really kicked off. I wouldn't say kicked off the Yes movement, but it was. I don't. To this day, I really haven't heard a pop quite like that when Danielson turned on the family, quote unquote. You know, that was a steel cage match, and it was in Penn State. I'll never forget it. And it's like that moment where he finally gets his hands on Bray Wyatt, and he nails him with the knee, and he climbs to the top of the cage, and he's doing the Yes, and like the whole arena is doing it with him. That led to a really good match at the 2014 Royal Rumble, which Bray won. I would say the match that really kind of put him over the top though is the Elimination Chamber. It was 2017 where he won the championship. He beat he eliminated AJ Styles last, who was the champion, and won that match. It felt like the moment where it was like, and I think the reign could have been a lot more, right? Like he lost it.
Oh yeah,
Mania, of course.
I mean, it was only what, 3 months?
Champion for like a month or something.
Oh no, yeah, it was a month. Sorry,
he was champion for like a month. But at the same token, like when he finally won the championship, it was like finally, like we got the guy that we wanted to see with the championship. And while it didn't last long, that moment where he finally got to win the championship for the first time was a magical moment. So those are like the two.
And to
big
pin AJ Styles, I believe, right?
he defeated AJ Styles last in the match. So those are the two big ones for me, as far as like memorable matches and moments.
Yeah. Q.
I think if anything, one of the matches that I did enjoy with Bray obviously was it has to go back to when he was cult leader Bray, and it was the Wyatt family. It was the Wyatt family versus the Shield versus the first time. The first time the Wyatt family versus the Shield. Just the build up to that to their first encounter. With the Shield, they were supposed to be like these mercenaries. They're the attack dogs, while like the Wyatt family, the supernatural, strange cult group, and it just you saw interaction with both factions. Two of the strongest factions in the business at that time. The Shield, you already know, was dominant, doing whatever they did. The Wyatt family, they went and took out whoever they wanted, and when those two finally decided to come in each other's crosshairs, really. At the time, you could see like the Shield. I'd say promo wise, they weren't ready. They weren't ready promo wise. But but of course, they were what made up for it was in the ring, because again, Bray always had the upper hand when it came to the promos. When Triple H would always tell the Shield like, "Yo, stand down, Shield, stand down, boys," and Bray would come here with that next song line like, "That's right, boys, you heard your daddy."
Mm-hmm.
And then that said even more things. Even more is just like, see, now you guys can't fight us because Triple H is telling y'all don't fight. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, then the match happens. I still say it's one of the I say it's still one of Bray's greatest matches. Period, with the Wyatt family versus the Shield, and of course, and the right team won. The Wyatt family ended up going over on the Shield. That was like even then at the time, this was at the time where WWE was a little meh, kind of unwatchable. There was a lot of things that was like you could have skipped, but it's like it almost felt predictable because you really thought the Wyatt family wasn't going to win. You thought the Shield was going to win, and then the Wyatts won, and they won in dominant fashion because they really decimated the Shield, and it was just like, oh, okay, this is cool. And I'd say another match that I personally enjoyed was when the Fiend won the Universal Championship. Absolutely. When the Fiend won, and the way the Fiend won when he defeated Seth Rollins. That I enjoyed, because again, the Fiend is now he's at this point of his career where he's this unstoppable supernatural character, and he's just and everything. And no matter what, it's everything they're trying to do to stop him, and he just can't stop him. Hurt, and it was just good, to see the hurt heal, but then he ends up beating Seth Rollins with coming up with the mandible claw and everything, wins the title with fashion. I think that was one of my favorite. I'd say that was one of my favorite matches for Bray. But even then, I'd say probably the memorable moment was the Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody says. That I enjoyed that. Like there was. Even though it was a way to be it was cinematography being brought in. You got Bray versus John Cena. You got to see so many what ifs if it did happen. If John Cena did go, what if John Cena was in that era? He went over to WCW. What if John Cena was a part of the NWO? Mm-hmm. What if? All the what ifs, and it just worked. Yeah. And in the end, the Fiend won. So it was just like, all right, this is cool.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely going through the multiverse. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much what that was. For me, so I think there's two matches that. So one is actually a negative, but I say it for a reason. Stretch mentioned the Elimination Chamber where Bray Wyatt won. I have to mention the WrestleMania that Bray Wyatt lost. The pictures of the worms and the crazy teeth on the mat, like, what was going on? First off, you know what I mean? But I think if it wasn't for that, we would have never gotten the Bray Wyatt that comes later, which is the Fiend and the whole Firefly Funhouse Bray.
Mhm.
With that being said, I already mentioned earlier in the show about him versus Balor. Um, I feel like with Bray, oh man, it's extremely difficult for me personally to pick just one Bray Wyatt match. Um, so if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna switch it up for me a little bit and just speak of one specific moment
Mhm.
to me, which is probably still the creepiest moment that he's ever had to date, which was the kids around the steel cage with Cena. No, not the steel cage. It was in the ring. It wasn't a cage.
It was in the
Am I right?
cage. They did a
Okay.
promo in the cage.
So it's still
Yeah,
good.
Children's
Yeah,
Choir.
and
that was when Cena was trying to leave the cage, and then the kids that
yes,
surround.
yes,
Yeah,
and the kids were there, and then the one kid with the what movie was that? Not with the whole blank face and the scream, the that cat-ish
Oh, that's the
scream.
Grudge.
Yes, there was that one kid and that grudge sound came out. Um, and them singing, you got the whole, we got
he's
the
got the
whole
whole world in his
world
hand.
in his hands, and
That's where it
man,
started.
yeah, that was to me that man, that was one of those things that truly solidified the man in the company. Uh damn it, man. Sorry, I'm my brain is just going through moments right now. Um but once again, man, we Bray, we're gonna miss you, brother. We're gonna miss you. We're gonna miss the way your mind works. We're gonna miss what you brought to the wrestling industry. We're gonna miss what you did for us. Um, just your work and your mind. And once again, rest in peace to Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda. Once again, our hearts and our prayers go out to the entire family and friends who knew him. Um, and once again, rest in peace to Terry Funk, the hardcore icon. Some people might know him as Chainsaw Charlie. Um, the man that was Mick Foley / Mankind / Dude Love / Cactus Jack. That was his mentor. And look, I'll just say this about Funk real quick. And I know Stretch definitely remembers Strike Q. I don't know if y'all saw this or not, but I specifically remember there being a hardcore tag title match between them and the New Age Outlaws. And
WrestleMania 14 dumpster match.
yes, that was, yeah, you're right. That was the dumpster match. And watching Terry get pushed over. Was it Terry or was it Mick?
Terry. Oh, that was both Terry
It
and Mick.
was both of them,
That's
yeah.
how the feud
And they
started.
pushed
They got dumped. They were in the dumpster, and the Outlaws locked it. They shoved it
and
off.
pushed them over the ramp. It was insane.
I thought that was real. To this day,
Yo,
when I was a kid, I thought that was
seriously,
real.
you knew they were hurt. You
Yeah.
knew they were hurt. But Terry Funk was another person who influenced so many people. Dusty Rhodes would always talk about Terry Funk. RVD, a lot of ECW guys spoke about Terry Funk. Um, Terry was ahead of his time, man. He
Yeah.
really was. On so many different levels, especially when it comes to just some of the more hardcore aspects, what we call hardcore aspects of wrestling. Terry, I believe, was 79 when he passed.
Yep,
Um,
79.
and that was last week, right? Over the weekend. Um,
Literally, it was
something like that.
Or a
It
couple
was
days
it was
ago.
within the last week. I know that.
no, actually was no, it was actually the day before.
Yeah, it's a couple days.
It literally was the day
Oh,
before.
you're right. It was only a couple days. Excuse me. I'm definitely sorry about that, about getting that incorrect. Um,
Actually,
but
I think it was
it was the day before, right?
it was yeah, it was the 23rd.
It was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Two-
Yeah, he died yesterday, and Bray died today. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yep.
That is insane. But look, Terry Funk, man, once again, and I feel like the same thing can be said, man. First and foremost, prayers and thoughts and condolences to the to his family, friends,
Wyndham and
colleagues.
Rotund family.
For Funk?
Oh, I thought you meant Bray. My apologies.
Oh no, I was talking about Funk.
Funk family, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't know his real name. That's why I was like, I don't know. So once again, man, this has been a difficult time these last couple of days in wrestling. All eyes are definitely going to be on SmackDown tomorrow. Um, so it'll be interesting to see who says what. I know we all know there's going to be a lot of things said. Trips is probably going to have a lot to say if he says anything on air. But with that being said, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Stretch.
I will say this for those who, if you've never seen Terry Funk versus Ric Flair in that I Quit match, it's 1989. That match is almost 40 years old, and it still holds up to this very day.
Absolutely.
Like, that match is a work of art. And to me, it's honestly, from all the matches that I've seen of Terry Funk, and I've watched damn near all of them, that to me is his best match with Ric Flair. Like, it is such a great match. It's a hard-hitting match. Like, it's a fantastic match. And Funk was a master in promo. Like, Funk has so many promos that, like, fit in today's era. Like, he's one of those wrestlers, like, you can put him in any era and he fits. Like, Terry Funk was a gifted performer, and it will never be another Terry Funk. Like, as long as we live. So
I completely agree.
Godspeed. Like, you can make a case for Terry Funk being the greatest wrestler of all time. That's how good Terry Funk was.
Wow. And he's he's really not incorrect by that. I mean, Terry Funk was one of those people, who was ahead of his time. In my eyes, he was the Dreamcast of pro wrestling. The Dreamcast was ahead of its time for multiple reasons, and that's what Funk was for so many decades, not just years, decades. So with that being said, there's a couple things we have to cover because it's coming up. First and foremost, All In. So we're All In. There's a lot of things going on. That is this Sunday. At 1 o'clock, 0 Hour will be at 12. They are in London at Wembley Stadium. Excuse me. But there is one particular situation that I would like for us to cover. So we know that currently, right now in AEW, there is allegedly 2 world champions. One is the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, who is carrying around the Triple B, which is the man on the right, MJF. And then you have the man who says he is the real world's champion and holds the real world's championship, which is the man on the left, CM Punk. The Collider, if you will. So, gentlemen, this is what's going on, as you guys know. At All In, we are going to have MJF versus Adam Cole for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. We are also going to have CM Punk versus Samoa Joe for the, quote, real world championship, end quote. Hypothetically speaking, MJF versus CM Punk, let's say that happens at Chicago in All Out, which is the week after, also on Sunday. Not this coming Sunday, the following. 2 questions. Number 1, does MJF go in as a face? Love you, Squish. She said, have a good night and screw Punk's fake title. Does MJF go as a face, essentially? And number 2, if CM Punk is to win, how would you feel?
I'll go.
Please.
MJF is definitely the face in this feud. And technically, in the first feud, he was kind of the face in the feud to me, because nothing he said was wrong. Nothing he was saying was wrong in the beginning. He basically said he was a fan of CM Punk for a very long time, since he was a
Hey,
kid. He was making his business to tell him that, oh, you didn't do me right. It's my dream to have this match with you, and it went into this whole spiel, and we see what happened the first time. But
Mhm.
now Cole, well, it seems like MGF has been doing a mark tour. I'll say that in the nicest way possible, where he's having matches with people that he's really looked up to and admired
Mhm.
throughout his wrestling career. And now he's hit a point where he's with Adam Cole, which we all know is backstabber of backstabbers, I would say. Or, good for quick heel turns when needed. So I think Sunday will get a whole bunch of craziness. We might get Adam Cole end up turning on MJF, and that will lead into All Out possibly being face MJF against a long
Tweener.
time coming heel Punk. No, Punk's been doing heel shit for God knows how long now. I would say
But
even when he was champion, he was doing a lot of heel shit.
he would. But you know what? This
Personally.
is why. This is why I don't think he would. Like I do think he would. I guess essentially be on the heel side,
Hmm.
but they're still portraying him as a face. That's the only reason I think it's kind of like tweenerish. It's kind of like that Stone Cold situation, right? Where like you're not supposed to like the shit that he's doing, but because it's Stone Cold, people are enjoying it. With CM Punk, the only difference is that it seems like, he's really getting that like polarizing kind of response where, he'll get cheers some places, he'll get booed some others. Um
It's a Cena treatment.
yeah, Cena, Roman, when Roman was the big dog,
Hmm.
he was getting that type of response. Actually right now he's actually getting that type of response also. Um, as we can tell much further into the bloodline story, which we'll cover maybe next week. We'll explain. I'll explain some stuff at the end of the show, but um, I do believe that. Look, this is my thing, guys. And look, you know me. First off, we got a wrestling podcast. There's no way I can just stop watching wrestling, you know. But I would be highly upset if CM Punk went home with both titles, especially considering that All Out is in Chicago. I don't know. I don't think I'd like it.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I was waiting
I
for
don't
that.
care. I'm sorry. I'm
So was I.
like I don't care. I don't necessarily not. I'm only trolling y'all. Like I'm not to say that I don't care. I just feel that this whole thing with All In and All Out, having two pay-per-views back to back in the same aspect, it just doesn't. There's not enough room.
Fucking
There's
wild.
it's just not enough. It's not enough room. There's not enough room. We're going on a what if between these two champions. One, it's clear as day. They only have little feelers here and there, but they're not really focused on each other at all. Obviously, CM Punk is over there with Collision. MJF is over there on Dynamite. They got both their own different lanes. It just feels like everything's gonna just be rushed. Whatever doesn't make it on All In is going on All Out. That's
Yep.
literally what it's looking like. And I mean,
Exactly.
if that's for y'all enjoy that, cool, great. I don't care. That I'm not gonna sit here and try to like make this whole talking point. I It's because it's too close to each other and it's back to back to back right there and there. There's literally no point.
Yeah,
I
it
would have
was.
I would have I
That's
would have
definitely
felt
the
more
wrong
invested.
move.
I would have felt more invested and enjoyed this even more if All Out was not in September. All Out was like in October, like right after.
Right.
It's like all right, boom. So we got some time to build some feelers and like give it a chance to breathe. when we doing all this, it just seems like everything is just rushing and jumbling in, and that's annoying.
I have
I
a
like
question
that.
for you.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm sorry. Hypothetically, right? Let's say All Out was the first week of October, the first weekend of October.
Okay.
So what? That's like Comic-Con weekend, right?
Ooh.
I know. I can't wait for us to talk about that. Anyways, I know. No, I would hate it. I would hate it.
Because automatically, you already know it's getting X'd out. All Out.
Oh yeah.
All Out's not getting it.
Either that or we're just the three of we'll just meet up and fucking go watch it somewhere. But anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But so hypothetically speaking, right? Let's say they give it the full month of promos, and people showing up on Dynamite, Collision, Rampage, the whole 9, right? But then Full Gear is, I believe, November.
Usually is November, yes.
What would you rather? That match happening at All Out or that match happening at Full Gear?
Full Gear. But I think Full Gear because, but you see, petty me is gonna say, why am I gonna do it at Hangman Page's pay-per-view when I should do it in Chicago?
I would say no. I would say do it at All Out. I'd say do it at All Out because All Out is where all the fuckery and the bullshit started. So it should be.
Yeah, you're right.
So this should be all where the bullshit. This is where all the bullshit and the fuckery should end. See, it works. Let it. The shit that started all this bullshit and you had all this back and forth and drama in this one fucking wrestling company. Let it end at the same fucking pay-per-view. Right. That's what it just makes sense. It makes sense. But you know, I'm also learning. But I'm learning, now that I'm learning, what we learned in the wrestling business is that common sense is just not. It's neither here nor there. We just you gotta be. It's not common. You gotta make it wacky. It has to be some wacky story. It has to be some bullshit going on. Like,
Stretch, I have a different question for you. Who would you rather see? MJF versus CM Punk or Adam Cole versus CM Punk?
Adam Cole versus CM Punk.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even have to wait to answer that. Number one, like I agree with a lot of what QS said. This doesn't feel big because it's too close to each other. Right. So it's like any potential story that's there has not gotten a chance to breathe. Like it's too much. Like to me, it's a lot of wrestling for the sake of wrestling. It's like, okay, we have these 2 world champions now. Hey, let's make them wrestle. So there's one champion. It's like there's no drama to it. It's just like, okay, we have 2 champions. We're gonna have them wrestle. Cool. Like there's no drama to it whatsoever. And it's like I get it. Like that, their audience is a lot different from the WWE audience. So maybe I shouldn't look at it from that lens of like, okay, there's a potential story there. Let's let the story breathe. They are far more wrestling focused and they care about the stuff that goes on in the ring, which is cool.
So don't structure
they're much more New Japan than they are WWE.
Yeah, like I'll look at it like it's more New Japan than it is WWE. So maybe I shouldn't even look at it from that lens. But if you like that stuff, cool. It doesn't work for me. That's why it's like, okay, I try to get back into this. Like I mentioned on Squishy's show when I was on there last week, I try to get back into this, and it's like the little bit of like drama and storytelling they try to add in involves an anorexic looking Leatherface. So it's like no disrespect to anybody that has an eating disorder that may be watching this. I use that as a euphemism, of course. It's very slim in comparison to the guys that they got to play Leatherface, right? But it's like, okay, why exactly do we have this on the show when you could at least build to a championship versus champion match, right? Or something, or have like a CM Punk promo. I did not need to see that match. It's like you could have done something to make that feel way more important than what you've been doing thus far. Right. You know, I think it's like, you know, they've obviously struck gold with this Adam Cole and MJF pairing, right? You know, so of course they're gonna get a segment. Kangaroo kicks for everybody, right? So they struck gold with that. And obviously they're gonna run with that. I think that to burst everyone's bubble, it's going to come to an end at Wembley. You know, I think that Adam Cole, if he does not turn heel at Wembley, he will turn heel in Chicago. He might cost MJF his championship, and they might go from there. You know, we'll see what happens. But at the same token, you know, if you're gonna run with like a pay-per-view right after a major show, like it diminishes everything. Like let's say, and I'm not wishing for this by any means, right? Let's say that the show in Wembley is a subpar show, right? This is the biggest show that they're done in the existence of this company. Wembley Stadium is a big deal. Like that's over 80,000 people that Wembley Stadium fits, and it seems like they're going to surpass SummerSlam '92, which the WWE ran, and got over 80,000 people. But it seems like they're going to surpass that number. So more power to them, right? That's actually awesome news, and I'm glad to hear that. With that said, if this show does not deliver, and then they have another show in Chicago that blows it out of the water, it's all for moot. Like that, the gravitas of you guys selling out Wembley
is to make Wembley the biggest show ever.
You lose it to me, right? You lose it to me if you go right back and just have another major event like right after this. It's a week after this. It's like,
literally.
What could you do in a week? It's like I think personally, and this goes to show you that for this audience, storytelling, they really don't care about storytelling as far as like
but
what's going on. Like,
but that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
No, not to cut you. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
All I was going to say is that's the point. They're the company that's supposed to be the alternative, and the alternative is pro wrestling.
Yeah,
they just like pro wrestling, and that's okay.
Which is fine. I have nothing against that. Like I like to see great wrestling matches as much as the next wrestling fan, but at the same token, they announced all these matches really late, and it's like it's really off of the strength of the in-ring stuff. So if the in-ring stuff does not deliver, they're going to be in serious trouble to me. Like, and they've had shows in the past where it seems like one major mistake during one of those matches affects everything else afterwards. Like, I distinctly remember Matt Hardy banging his head off in the fucking concrete, and the rest of that show was like, nobody really cared about what happened next after that because everybody was so concerned for Matt. It took everybody out of the show. And I remember saying to myself, like, I really hope that they have a perfect night for their sake at Wembley Stadium. Because if they don't, a lot of people are going to remember, like, this is, like, the biggest show that they've ever had, and they make a mistake.
It was a flop.
Like that. Right. It was a flop afterwards. I'm not hoping for that in any way, shape, or form. I don't want that to be the message that people are taking away from this. But to have two major shows that close to each other, they have to. I'm wondering what the end game is for that MJF and Adam Cole match. I'm wondering what it is because it has to be like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I think it's so crazy, right? Because I was saying this on Squishy Show right before we came on that it's MJF, not MJF, excuse me. Adam Cole is such an amazing heel. And I can put Adam Cole in the vein of Triple H, Ric Flair, Randy Orton. Those guys are much better heels than they are faces. And I'm not talking crap about them being faces. They're fantastic faces. But their heel work is what's memorable. And I think that is the same with Adam Cole. I feel like Adam Cole's heel work is more memorable than his face work. Sadly, look, man, I understand CM Punk loves this industry, loves the business. It gave him his wife. It gave him opportunities to be in movies, TV shows, and to make a living outside of what people will call your normal means, right? But I do not give a shit about him being a world champion anymore. I don't care. I don't. It's not intriguing to me anymore.
I don't want to go with the timeline with the rest of the folks that say that, like Punk is washed. I don't want to say that. He's not washed, but he's definitely older.
I mean,
he can't do.
Did you not? Did you
Punk
not see that damn GTS he gave to Joe?
I mean that GTS when he was a conquistador, that was pretty
the Golden Vampire.
I mean, it was pretty rough, but it just goes to show Punk just can't. I think Punk is just I think he's in his era right now where he's just coasting, and it's okay to just coast. I just want him to do that, just coast. I don't need you. And you're right. he doesn't need to be a champion. That's why it's like I don't really. This is a reenactment of Cena versus Punk all over again, where they would pull both WWE champions. I don't need to see this anymore. I don't need to see this storyline anymore because one, Punk is much older. He can't do what he used to do anymore. It's obviously Father Time has caught up to him. He's not washed. He's not done. He just has to be. He's just finessing it. He needs to finesse it a little bit and just keep it as such.
Right.
I would rather Punk in the role where he's feuding with the upcoming upstart talents, boosting them up and giving them that push to put them in the next stratosphere. Like feud with like a Darby Allin, feud with Darby, get Darby more over than what he already is. Feud with Jungle Boy, feud with Sammy Guevara. I need you to feud with the Pillars. I mean, you've already done your thing with MJF. MJF he's already solidified. He's champion. We don't really need to see that anymore.
There's other people for you to work with.
We don't need to see that. It's just like, all right, we're getting this reenactment. If we're gonna get a potential Punk versus MJF again, it's like, okay, we're getting this again. All right, cool, I guess. But I'll agree with Stretch. I'd rather see Punk versus Adam Cole because it's something new.
Agreed.
It's different.
Right.
It's something different. We don't need to see. I get it. Like you guys we're all gonna enjoy seeing Punk versus Joe again because again it's always been a good match. It's always been a good feud with those two.
Right.
We're gonna enjoy that, but I want to see something different. I just want to see something different.
All right. So we're coming up to the end of the show soon. So there is one more thing that we have to speak about. All of us are music lovers in here, and we just passed we just passed it. It's the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And all of us as New Yorkers, we know hip hop began here in New York. Specifically, people like to go straight to the Bronx. But I'll leave it at this, man. And we're just gonna say it like this. And there was a tweet I saw that made me think about you guys. If you had to pick the one song, and not so much to encapsulate it, because 50 years is a long time. But what is the one song to you that when you play it, you're like, that's hip hop? Or do you need me to start?
I got one.
Okay, go ahead, Stretch.
Got one. I got probably Commons. I used to love her because it talks about the different stages of like how hip hop started to where it was when he made the song. Like he's talking about how it was more of a communal thing. Then it's like, he's talking about it as if he's in a relationship with a person. Yeah. But the metaphor is the person is hip hop. Mm-hmm. And he's talking about it from the stages of where it's like it started off as like a communal thing, right? And then grew into this larger thing. Then like came like the next wave of the century is like, gangster rap and stuff like that and so forth and so on. And it's like really like kind of like a historical like time capsule of not only the time in which he's rapping about, but peeking back at the history of hip hop.
Absolutely.
Like, so that's definitely the song for me as far as like, something like historical just starts from the beginning of hip hop to like where it was at the time period. Yeah. So definitely that's like the song that comes to mind.
Real quick, you got one more?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hip hop songs I could talk about.
Right, all of us.
I mean, there's so many. Like the first, I'm a huge fan of Gangstar. So, Guru and Premier for me, like there's so many songs that I can talk about. The top song that I love from Gangstar is probably the Soliloquy of Chaos. I absolutely love that song. So it's like Guru's lyrics with like Premier's production is like they were a perfect duo to me. So
absolutely,
I can talk about Gangstar all night. Like don't get me started, please.
Absolutely. Strike.
So we're using the song to describe the 50 years or just hip hop in general?
It's for you. For you. What song encapsulates hip hop for you? So if you have two, cool.
Juicy by
Great
I feel when you think about just the amount of blends of different types of music you can put into hip hop, into a beat, into a sample. Um, Biggie said, "Let me cut from the gangster part of it, or
Yep.
the super hyper aggressive part of it. Let me pull some R&B. Let me pull some classical music, and on a beat, and let me rap over it, talking to whichever honey at the time he wanted to talk to, or just make something that you could bump in your car or you could play on your boombox at the time." And just walk through the street and just bring a good vibe to everybody.
Never
I
did
I
forget you.
think
I have a story to tell. I will tell you that as a Knicks fan.
mm,
Mm.
yeah. So
I don't know, man.
it's
Juicy's a classic,
just
bro.
yeah. It to me, I feel that's just an example, but I may have another song, but
Wait,
that's just an
strike real
example.
quick.
Go ahead.
I'm no, because we're talking about Juicy, and that might be like my top 5, maybe top 10, maybe top 5 hip hop songs of all time.
Mhm.
Especially for New Yorkers, it's always that one verse, and it's always those 4 words that you hear: Super Nintendo,
Sega
Sega
Genesis.
Genesis. Like every New Yorker knows that verse, even if they don't know the first 2.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, agree.
That is a great fucking pick.
And that's honestly the 90s.
Yeah,
That's the 90s, or the late 80s, early 90s in a nutshell. Like,
yeah.
to me, Juicy's one. And then I'll still do the same thing, but I'll do it on the opposite end. We
Okay.
have the politics that
Mhm,
we brought up in hip hop. I
mhm.
can go with Jadakiss's Why. I could
Yes.
go
Oh,
to
great pick.
I could go to let's go to we could go to Miss America by J. Cole, just for a
Mhm.
modern take. You know, it's it encapsulates so much in terms of or shit. We could go back to Public Enemy days and we could talk about Public Enemy songs. We could talk
Yeah.
about NWA. We could talk about so many different things.
Right, right,
But
right.
it's just hip hop as a genre has encapsulated so many different things, whether it is popular situations, whether it's current events, contemporary things,
Right,
or
right,
just something you want to vibe out to. I
right.
don't know too much about today's hip hop or today's rap, but to me, back maybe like what, early 2000s,
Mhm.
mid 2010s, we could go early to the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, whichever. you know to me, music in general is something you vibe to. It
Mhm.
sways you this way, that way. Your emotions are pulled in, or it can completely take you out of a bad vibe. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
hip hop in general, to me, encapsulates all of that. I listen to so many different genres, but to
Right, right,
me,
right.
if I'm gonna put on a hip hop song, it's gonna motivate me or move me in such a way that
Fact.
it's going to just change how I view things.
Absolutely.
So you have conscious rap, you have, just regular boom bap or club music and stuff like that. Everything out of music just pulls at your heart, or your emotions, I should say.
I
So
like it.
those are my two. Those are my two for
Cool.
now.
Cute.
Honestly, if it's two hip hop songs for me that represents hip hop, I mean, what would we honestly what would we be without hip hop? The world's never gonna know. And that's the blessing right there.
Mm.
I would say one is Hustle's Ambition by 50 Cent.
Whew.
I don't know.
Great pick.
I don't care what nobody says. That is one of my favorite 50 Cent songs ever, and that really just encapsulates and it represents what New York is. Period. It
When the
if
fire meets the air. Oh, come on. Come on.
like the fire that breathes the air, but
Sorry,
it's
my
all
bad.
good. Like it's all good. It's all good. But I really do. It's I say that if that's a song that if you needed a villain origin story or you just need to feel like a villain, that's the
For
song
real.
that resonates with you. And
That's a great way to describe it.
another song that I always fuck with, that I've always fucked with, and I always appreciated is any Snoop Dogg in his anything Snoop Dogg song in his discography, but it's Let's Get Blown.
Mm.
Let's get
It's always like it's as it says, like, you know, hip hop don't always gotta be gritty, and it ain't gotta be gritty
Yeah.
and always and angry. Like sometimes you know, yeah, you can have some gritty, you know, the rawness in it, but there's other hip hop songs where you got that'll just make you feel good, like you can vibe to, that you can lounge to. So it's like, and that's no matter what. Let's Get Blown is always one of my go-to hip hop songs. I go to any time of the day.
Yes, sir.
That's dope. All right, so for me, it's interesting because, you know, look, we all love music. We all know that, you know, of course, on a personal level, like we know each other. You know what I mean? But it's funny because mine are 2 compilation tracks. One is, oh God, actually, there's 3. I won't do that. That's not fair. So one is Triumph by the Wu-Tang Clan. Because I believe that's Rakim. I'm sorry. Raekwon at the beginning of that track. And you're telling me the way he did his wordplay and his flow at the beginning of the song makes you want to listen to the rest of the song. I bomb atomically, Socrates' philosophies and high prophecy can't define what I would drop in these mockery. Like, what? And at that time, like nobody was rapping like that. No one. Not Ghostface, not
nobody
Meth.
raps like the Wu-Tang.
No one was rapping like that. No, but that's true too.
You listen to a track.
Nobody raps like that.
Kung fu movie noises in the background and shit. And it's like, who else was doing that?
Yo, the art of shadow boxing was crazy.
Yeah.
So definitely like the Wu-Tang Clan, like you gotta for me, Triumph is once, like QS said, man, that's one of those songs for me I can always listen to and never get sick of.
Yeah.
The second one was by 2 different hip hop groups at the same time. Scenario.
Oh,
to me, Scenario is the ultimate hip hop song.
Here we go, yo.
So what's yo, what? Like, as I combine and listen. To me, those are the 2 songs that I feel encapsulate hip hop. Not only because of the stories that they were telling, but I feel like because of the artists that were on these tracks, you literally had a mix of everything: wordplay, style, flow, the beats by themselves. You know what I mean? Like, listen, RZA might not have been the greatest rapper, but damn it, that man can make instrumentals. You know, so to me, those 2. I mean, even if you were talking compilations, 4321. You know what I mean? Like Hit 'Em High, which is on the Space Jam soundtrack, which we spoke about. I believe that was the first season of the show.
Still the greatest of all time.
Talk about a stretch.
Still the greatest of all time. Hey, okay, what none of y'all say, still the greatest soundtrack of all time.
Just saying. I know QS. Was yours waiting to exhale? Was that what it was?
For the greatest soundtrack of all time? Yeah, hell yeah. It's definitely waiting to exhale. Oh, wow.
But yeah, so look, there's, I think, you know, and of course we could talk about hip hop a lot more in the future episode, and once again we have some things lined up. But look, we're closing in on the end of the show. So first and foremost, to everybody who watched, everybody who commented, everybody who liked, shared, and subscribed, thank you for rocking with us for so long. We will celebrate our 3-year anniversary. I promise you, as soon as we figure out the technical aspect of things, we will definitely celebrate it, and we're gonna have a lot of fun while we fucking do it. But gentlemen, I haven't said this in a little while, and I'm probably going to get this order fucked up. So y'all just start talking, and then I'll put things up.
I'll just read the name that comes at the bottom. Don't worry.
Right, exactly. But like I said, it's been a while since I said this. Gentlemen, let's do what we do. Am I right?
You're wrong, but it's okay. We're gonna go. Yes. So again, you guys already know where to follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Forever Thiefing. Yes, it is Mr. After Hours. He is back. we are back in full effect. Also taking a look on Sunday nights and or possibly Monday nights, but really it's Sunday nights. We are bringing, yes, Jocelyn's Cabaret is back. So that means that, yes, you will be watching Jocelyn's Cabaret on QS's stories. That is perfectly fine. We are no longer on the ghetto iPad anymore. We have taken it now to the big screens. So yes, we are
Let's go.
You already know. So I do this for y'all, so y'all don't have to pay for it. But you already know. But if you would like to send me $1, you already know my cash app is literally my name. It's literally that name right there. Boom. You already know what to do.
Talk about it.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much always for tuning in and rocking with us. It's always respected and it's always appreciated.
Amen. Preach that.
Yes. All my information is down there. You can follow me at my new X account. At Is That Stretch?
We're not respecting that shit. It's still Twitter.
It
Right.
really is.
Mama named him Twitter. I'm gonna call him Twitter. But yeah, you can follow me down there. As a matter of fact, and I would also like to say, thank God that the Fresh and Fit podcast is no longer monetized.
Oh man, we could talk about that in an episode. Jeez. But just for everybody. Well, damn. You know what? We're not doing that. I'll do that after.
We'll save it.
I'll save that after. All right. Hey y'all, it's me, Striker Dragoon. I'm back. It's Instagram, Twitter. I mean, I have to. I got to put it on at least for the first episode.
Paulie D.
That's Paulie.
Yes. So I'm back. Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. Well, fuck Twitch, but Instagram and Twitter all the same at Striker Dragoon. YouTube is at Striker Dragoon 131, and I will be back streaming tomorrow night. We will be playing some Armored Core 6.
Let's go.
Fires of Rubicon. I've never played Armored Core before because I was a very
interesting.
As a kid, I wasn't able to get every game that I wanted, but my parents know I love Pokemon. They'd give me Pokemon games all the time, or I'd get a couple of games here and there. But now that I'm older and I buy my own shit, I'm gonna play Armored Core for the first time. Reviews have been great. It's from Software, so Dark Souls, Elden Ring, stuff like that. But I'm gonna enjoy my time with it. I'm hearing really great things. I hear it's difficult as hell, but that's fine. I am not planning to do a schedule until next month, so just be on the lookout for my streams. I'm gonna try and keep it to one game for a playthrough, and then I'll move on to my next game, unless I'm playing like fighting games or something on the side. Also, yeah, once you get to 250 subs on the YouTube, I'll be doing another game giveaway. Hopefully, this will happen next year or before the year's over. Let's cross our fingers. But thank you guys for rocking with us. Thank you guys for staying subscribed. Checking in on us when you could, and we're back. That's it.
And as always, you can find me at Mr. Marvel87, both on Instagram and X/Twitter and Threads. Let's not forget about that one, even though I don't really use it like that. Also, I am still the co-host of A Different Angle, which is the mental health podcast with myself and Rodney Harris. And the plan is to get these gentlemen on sometime soon. At 80, you can follow us 88 Pod 2023, both on Instagram and Twitter. Also, if you want to follow some of the backlog stuff, you can go on differentangle.podbean.com. Also, I would be remiss if you don't see that little thing on the top right corner that says CDB Multimedia. That is the network that we are now currently a part of. Shout out to the Sucio boys. Shout out to Dre. Shout out to Keys. Shout out to Mika. Shout out to Sloan. Shout out to Ahan. Man, listen, we trying to make moves. So please go to Spotify and all your listening podcasts. And please type in CDB Multimedia. There's a bunch of podcasts, amazing podcasts, and we are so proud to be a part of them. We will have them on the show also, which we are very excited about. So please be on the lookout for that.
CDB.
Also,
I don't know why,
sir.
I don't know why I thought it said CBD. I had to be like, oh, we're on a
But,
weed.
well,
We're on a weed. We're on
I'm
a
not,
weed station.
bro.
That's
I'm not gonna hold you. I was saying that for like weeks, so
I thought
I was with
I
you.
was like, we're on a weed station. Oh
I
wait,
was
what?
with you on that.
We really went.
It's
we moved
culturally
left and right.
diverse broadcasting, I believe.
Okay,
That's
Um,
That's cool.
could be wrong, but I know it's definitely culturally diverse. Also, so the four corners of commentary are now going bi-weekly. I should have said that at the beginning, but I will say that again the week after. So we are going on a bi-weekly schedule just to make things a little easier for us. So with that being said, on the weeks that we are not live on YouTube, I will be either going on Instagram Live or Twitter Spaces to hold some conversations. Sometimes there'll be, about anything. Sometimes there'll be about wrestling. So the gentlemen will jump in whenever they can. Life be lifing. But please be on the lookout for that. Because I plan on having whole hell of a lot of fun with a whole bunch of special guests. Next Thursday, I do believe I will be going on Instagram Live. And as of right now, I believe I will have, at least I know that the Professor Nick Harrison will be on that Instagram Live. We will try to get him on the show for sure also. So please be on the lookout for that because your boys are doing big things. You feel me? You can also follow the Four Corners of Commentary both on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the Council of Commentary.
and Threads.
And Threads. We will update that. TikTok at Council of Commentary and Twitter or X or whatever. The Twitter X. Ooh, that sounds dirty. At CO Commentary. Please make sure that to follow us on all of your favorite streaming platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Audible, iHeartRadio, just to name a few. If you are on Spotify or Apple Music, please give us 5 stars, comment, let us know what you think of the show. Believe me when I tell you, we do actually read it, and we do take your criticism or what you like, what you don't like very seriously. Because all we want to do is make our platform better for you. Guys, we love you. We thank you so much. Once again, this is the first episode of season 3. We are so happy to be back. Man, this is about to be a wild ride. So on behalf of Striker Dragoon, Professor Stretch, Quiet Storm, and myself, K Marvel, we are your Four Corners of Commentary. Blah, blah, blah. And we out. Peace.
Woof.
I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got it. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it.